Hi, this is Sharon. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a crochet scrubby for your face. I'm using Premier Home Cotton. It's 85% recycled cotton and 15% polyester, 131 yards or 120 meters. It is a number 4 medium weight yarn, and I am using a number 5 crochet hook. This yarn is machine wash and tumble dry, which is the best thing about it. You will also need a stitch marker and scissors, as well as yarn needle for weaving in your ends. I like to use a sharp tip needle. It really gets those ends woven in and mixed into the yarn so that it won't come undone very easily. And I found these on Amazon. So the first thing that we're going to do is make a magic circle or a magic loop, however you want to call it. And in order to do that, we want to take our 2 fingers, lay the tail of the yarn across them, bring the yarn around behind, come back around and make an X. Now we're going to loop that over and hold it in place with your ring finger. Now we're going to take our crochet hook, go under that first bar, grab the yarn, bring it up and twist. From here, we want to now take that second strand of yarn again and make a slip stitch or a chain, however you want to call it. Sometimes it's a little tight to get through. There we go. And now we've locked in our magic circle. So now we're going to make all of our stitches inside this circle, and you want to keep the tail wrapped the way it is, and that's what's going to help close this up so that once it's closed, it's a very small opening in the middle. And we're going to make 10 single crochets inside this circle. So holding the circle, we're going into it, pulling up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and that's 1. Into the circle, pulling up a loop. I like to hold underneath my stitches to just hold everything in place and pull through, and there's 2. Three. You can pull the tail and make it a little bit smaller if that's easier for you. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, now we want to pull our tail and close up that circle. And this is what you have. Get that tail out of the way. And this is what you have. So from here, we're going to do a bobble stitch. So to do the bobble stitch, we want to work into every stitch. So we're going to work into all 10 stitches. We want to yarn over, go into, before we yarn over, we want to chain 2, yarn over, go into that first stitch and pull up a loop to get our height. Yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, go into the stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, go into that stitch, pull up a loop. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So now we want to pull through all 7 of those loops. And it's a little bit tricky to get through them. Just go slow. And then to close it, we want to slip stitch closed. And then chain 1. Yarn over, go into the stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, go into the stitch, pull up a loop, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and yarn over, go into the stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 7. Slip stitch, chain 1. I really hope that I'm in frame for this. Yarn over, pull up the stitch, yarn over, go in, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 7, slip stitch, whoops, now slip stitch and chain 1. And you're going to continue that all the way around so that you have 10 puff stitches. Now you could put your yarn marker in the first one. I don't feel like I need it just yet. I'll need it more for the next round. So I'll meet you back at the beginning and you should have 10 of these puff stitches. Okay, so I'm on my 10th puff stitch and I'm ready to pull it through. Slip stitch, chain 1, and I'm going to connect and make a slip stitch into the top stitch of that chain 3 that we did in the beginning. Oops. Okay, into that chain and slip stitch in there. Why are you not going through? Come on. There we go. Okay, now we want to make a puff stitch in every puff stitch and in every chain 1 space. So this is where you might want to use your stitch marker and help you keep track. So I'm going to chain 2 and then go into that slip stitch that we made. So yarn over, 1, 2, 3, pull up a loop, and you can use your stitch marker. I'm just using it in that chain that we did. And now I want to make another one inside, sorry about that, another one inside the chain space. So 1, 2, 3, through them all, slip stitch, chain 1, and now go into the next slip stitch that we made over that next bobble stitch. Slip stitch, chain 1, and now into that space. And then slip stitch and chain 1. So you're going to continue that all the way around back to your marker, and then I'll come back and join and show you the next step that we're going to do. Okay, and now I am ready to do my last puff stitch inside that space. So 1, 2, and 3. Pull through, slip stitch, chain 1, and I'm going to join at the top of my chain and slip stitch to close. Okay, so this is what we have. And now, just to make everything look a little bit cleaner and nicer, you're going to want to do a single crochet around the outside. And you're basically going to do one in the puff stitch, in the chain, in the puff stitch, in the chain, in the puff stitch, in the chain, all the way around. So again, you'll want to put your stitch marker in to mark your first stitch. So single crochet, and I'm going to mark it. And then single crochet, single crochet, single crochet, and continue that all the way around, and I'll meet you back when we get to our stitch marker. Okay, so we are back, and I just did a single crochet over this last puff stitch, and now I'm going to single crochet into the chain space, and now I want to join in here. I'm going to slip stitch, but I'm not going to chain 1 to cut off the yarn. I'm going to show you a way to make it look like there's a chain that joined it. So you want to leave a bit of a long tail. And then taking the yarn needle, and as I said, I like the ones that have the sharp tips. Pull that through before you put the needle on the yarn. I'm going to pull this back and do this off camera a second, because under the camera is just too far away for me to see. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is, if I fold this back, I'm going to go under both legs of this stitch here, and then I'm going to go just under the back bar of that stitch. And then when I pull that, it becomes a seamless join all the way around. And then I'm going to turn it over onto the back, and I'm going to sew down in here. If it gets too hard to pull, I've actually used my jewelry pliers to help me. And then I want to get back to that center. I'm going to pull my tail again and close up my center circle. And now I'm coming out here, and I want to go into that center that I made. And just weave through. Okay, so now I went this way. Now I want to go back the other direction. And again, you want to get through the yarn so that you are splitting the yarn, because that's going to help tangle up your thread in there so that it doesn't come undone. And keep going through. And then cut that. And now we want to do the tail. So give the tail a pull again and make sure that circle is really pulled tight. I'm going to thread my needle off camera again. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing. I want to go through that center. I want to make sure that I'm not poking through on the right side. And I'm actually going to grab my pliers for this, because it is starting to get tight. Makes it much easier. Go through again. I'm still going the same direction. Oops. And now I want to go back in the opposite direction, and I want to do that one more time after this. So I'm going through here. A little bit further down. Sorry. I keep pulling it closer to me so I can see, but that's not helping you. And then I'm going to go back the opposite way again one more time to really lock that in. And now you can cut that off. And just give it a little zhuzh. And there you have your face scrubby. And I'm selling these at the craft fair. I made 5, so people, I'm selling them in sets of 5. And as far as price, you have to decide what's best for you. I'm really finding that you're not going to get paid for the time that it takes you to make things. So something like this goes by very quickly. So I just went online and looked up what other people were selling them for. So I'm going to ask for $10 for the set of 5, and if people want to negotiate, maybe I'll go down to $7. But it really is kind of trial and error, and depending on the group of people that are attending the event, you know, like you have to factor in all of that. So I know that there's people that do calculations and things like that, but for me, it just doesn't seem to work out. The price would be way higher than what people want to spend. And let's face it, people are cheap. So think about what something is of value to you. What would you be willing to pay? And maybe base it on that. Because unless someone really truly has an appreciation for handmade, people always want to bargain. So I hope that helps. Please make sure to give this video a thumbs up, a like, and make sure that you are subscribed. And I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.